All right, let's talk about it. If you're here, chances are you just got some tough news about the MRCOG Part 2 exam. And look, I get it, but this is exactly for you. We're going to figure out what really happened and, way more importantly, how we're going to make your next attempt your absolute strongest. So, you didn't pass. First things first, just take a breath. Seriously, let that sink in for a second. It's a horrible feeling, no doubt about it. But we're not going to ignore it. We're going to look it straight in the eye and figure out how to turn this into your biggest advantage. Okay, let's get one thing crystal clear right now. This result, it has absolutely nothing to do with how much you know or how good of a doctor you are or will be. Nothing. This is about how you were tested. It was a performance issue on a very, very specific kind of exam. And once you really get that, everything starts to change. So, first things first, we've got to understand what we're actually up against. The MRCOG Part 2, it's just not your typical sit down, memorize, and repeat kind of test. It's a whole different animal. And I know what you're probably thinking, so let's just shut that down immediately. Failing this exam does not mean you're not intelligent. It does not mean you lack knowledge, and it certainly does not mean you're not capable. None of that is true. That's just that negative voice in your head, and we need to get rid of it, starting now. Okay, this right here is the absolute core of it all. This isn't just a test of what you know. It's a performance exam. Think about it. It's designed to feel like you're on a busy ward, under pressure with multiple things happening. It's testing your thinking, your decision-making, your gut instinct, especially when every single option looks kind of right. That's a completely different skill set from just, remembering a fact from a textbook. So if it's not about what you know, then what is it, right? Well, the real reason you failed, it almost always comes down to your prep strategy. So let's get into it and find the real gaps. This slide really nails it. I'm sure you studied. Of course you did. You read, you made notes, you went over theory for hours and hours. But the real question is, did you train? See, training is a totally different thing. Training is about practice under pressure. It's doing mock exams against the clock. It's doing drill after drill of SBAs and EMQs until it's second nature. You're not just stocking your brain with information. You're conditioning it to perform on demand. And, these are the classic traps almost everyone falls into. Spending hours reading theory feels like you're getting somewhere, but it's passive. It doesn't build that quick-thinking mental muscle you need. If you're not doing tons of timed practice with real exam-style questions, you're basically training for a marathon by reading a book about running. It just doesn't work. And then there's this stuff, the silent killers, social media, constantly pulling your focus away. That little voice in your head chipping away your confidence, and, oh man, the comparison game, looking at what everyone else is doing. Let me tell you, for your reset, discipline is everything. It has to be stronger than your motivation on any given day, period. Okay, so this next part is maybe the most important shift you need to make. We're moving beyond your study habits and talking about how you think. This is all about rewiring your brain to approach every single question differently. So here's the difference in a nutshell. Knowledge is just memory. It's answering the question, what is the definition of X? But this exam is about something called Clinical Integrated Problem Solving, CIP. And CIP is all about decision making. It's constantly asking you one single crucial question. Okay, what are you going to do right now? Let's make this super clear with an example. You've got a 33-week patient, PPH. She's in shock. The exam could not care less if you can write a paragraph defining PPH. What it wants to know is this: do you resuscitate her first? That's it. That's CIP. It's all about priorities, safety, and making the right call when the pressure is on. So how do you actually use this in the exam? Well, when you're staring at an SBA and you know all 5 options seem pretty good, you need a mental filter. For every single option, you have to ask, is this the initial thing to do or the definitive thing? Is this the absolute safest choice I can make in this moment? And this is a big one. Is it ethically sound? Does it account for maternal choice? A lot of the time, the right answer is the safest one that also involves the patient in the decision. All right, we've diagnosed the problem. Now let's build a solution. And let me be clear, you do not need more random facts. You don't need another textbook. What you need is a system. Here it is. This is your new go-to framework for every single clinical question. Before your eyes even glance at the options, you run through this list. 1. Stable or unstable. 2. Gestation. 3. Investigate or manage first. 4. Is this initial or definitive? And 5. What's the safest option? Doing this forces you to think systematically, like a senior doc, and it helps you cut through all the distracting information. And your prep has to mirror this systematic approach. Seriously, if you just go and sign up for another course that throws a bunch of disorganized theory at you, you're just making the same mistake all over again. You need something different. You need an integrated system that's built from the ground up for someone in your exact situation. And this is what that system looks like in action. It's a really simple, powerful loop. First, you learn a very targeted piece of theory. Then, you immediately apply it in exam-style drills. And finally, you correct your mistakes, right then and there in the same study session. It's learn, apply, correct. That cycle is what actually builds the fast mental pathways you're going to need on exam day. Now, if you're looking for that kind of specific structure, a program like MedHome's Resit-only seamless program is built on this exact idea. The fee is $250, and there are special rates if you're a previous student. The whole point is to give you a really clear, focused path forward, without all the fluff. Okay, let's wrap this up. I want you to reframe this in your mind. Your last attempt was not a failure. It was data collection, and that data, if you use it right, is now your single greatest advantage. If you remember one thing, let it be this. Your second attempt has to be strategic, not emotional. The first time around, yeah, there are a lot of feelings involved. This time, it needs to be a cold, calculated plan. You know what went wrong, and now you have a system to fix it. It's all about execution. So here's your final checklist, your plan. Step 1, audit. Take a hard, honest look at what happened. Where did you waste time? Which topics made you panic? Step 2, correct. Fix the big strategic mistakes. No more passive reading, way more timed drills. And step 3, train. I mean it, don't just study. You are an athlete conditioning your brain for a massive performance. Look, by changing your mindset from just knowing stuff to performing under pressure, and by shifting your prep from studying to training, you have literally everything you need to completely change the result. So the only question is, are you ready to make this next attempt your absolute strongest one yet?